So quickly recap what we have done in the last class. Okay, it is very unfortunate to see that only 25 people joined so far. Okay, but actually that is not in my hand. Anyway, so quickly recap what we have done in the last class, right? Because that is in the last week, so you might have forget about that. So just quickly we'll recap it, and very simple thing. So we have derived the equation of motion in the earlier classes, and then we are studying the free vibration problem, undamped free vibration problem, and basically that lead to the eigenvalue problem to find out the mode shape and the frequencies and the mode shape or the eigenfunction. Okay, so this is our free vibration equation of motion, and assuming it's uniform beam, okay, Euler Bernoulli beam. So I can tell that my flexural rigidity, that is EI, is constant, and the mass per unit length is also constant. So I can write this equation, which is fourth order in space, that is x, and second order in time. Okay, so to solve that, 4 boundary conditions and 2 initial conditions are required, because this is a boundary initial value problem, and this is a partial differential equation, the equation number 48. Right now, I'll use the variable separation technique by considering that it is in synchronous motion is possible. Okay, so that yt and xt. Here I have used y, and I think that during class I used the capital V. I think it doesn't matter. That is the one is the spatially dependent, another is the time dependent variable separation technique. So if I substitute this in this equation, okay, then this operation can be easily written that partial derivative of v with respect to time can be written as this. Since y is only a function of x, so I can take it out outside. And here, since t is function of only, I mean the capital T is function of only the time, so it will be just outside. Okay, so now if I substitute that, I'll get this equation. So this side is only dependent on the space, and this side is time dependent. So they can they will be only equal if they are equal to some constant, and I'm considering this as an omega square, which is a positive constant. Okay, so from the first iteration, I'll get this equals to omega square. So this I'll get this, or I can write like this, where I have assumed that my beta to the power 4 is, for our convenience, I assume that beta 4 equal to omega square m by a. Okay, so that is the first equation, that is equation number 49, and by equating this with this, I'll get this equation. This is a, I mean, the structure of this equation is very well known to us. The solution is nothing but this. Okay, for the initial from using initial conditions to initial conditions, I can find out the constant of integration a and b. Now we look into this equation. Okay, which is nothing but our eigenvalue problem. This leads to the eigenvalue problem. Okay, so let us say the solution is like this. Okay, fourth order equation. So I'll get the 4 roots. Okay, that is plus minus beta and plus minus I beta. So my general solution will looks like this. And then using the Euler transformation, that e raised to I beta x, I can add the cos beta x plus sin beta x, and similarly for e raised to beta x, like in terms of the hyperbolic function. Okay, so I can write like this, where C1, C2, C3, C4 are some different constant apart from this C1 hat, C2 hat, C3 hat, and C4 hat. Okay, so this is my basically the deformed shape y-x, right, the space dependent function where 4 constant are there. So I can evaluate them using the 4 boundary conditions. Okay, right. So let us consider boundary condition. Depends upon obviously the beam type, right? Let's say the easiest one is the simply supported beam, in which the both of the ends together are shown here, and these are the boundary conditions. Okay, these are the boundary conditions on the left hand, and this is the boundary condition at the right hand. That is very well known to you. There is here the displacement and the moment is 0, displacement and vertical displacement and moment is 0. Okay, I can categorize it that these are my geometric boundary condition, and these are my natural boundary condition or force boundary condition. Okay, geometric or essential boundary condition. Okay, so now I am going to use this 4 boundary condition to evaluate this in this expression the coefficients. Basically that is our aim, and while doing that, so we obtain this first, this is 0, and then we got remaining 2 equations. So by making the determinant to 0 for non-trivial solution, we get this as a characteristic equation sin beta is equal to 0, which is a very simple solution. Okay, what is that solution? So this is actually characteristic equation. Okay, this is characteristic equation. This is our equation number 49, is an eigenvalue problem, EVP for continuous system. Okay, this is the characteristic equation. Okay, and this is the solution of the characteristic equation. Beta r L equals to r pi. We have assumed beta r equals to, if you go back to the slides, that beta I mean that actually this one beta to the power 4 equal to omega square m by ei. So if I substitute there, then I will get the roots omega r, that is the rth natural frequency as r square pi square h square by root over e. So if I substitute r equal to 1, then I will get the omega 1, r equal to 2 omega 2, r equal to 3 omega 3, and so on so forth. Okay. So then there comes the mode shape yrx. Yrx is what? So if I substitute here, so everything is 0, say except this term. So yr is equals to some constant into sine beta rx. Okay, that is the mode shape or eigenfunction. Now I can normalize it like we did for the multi-degree of freedom system. Okay, remember you, when we are making u transpose mu, ur transpose mur equals to, we are making it to 1. So here also like m yr square dx equals to 1. So yr is, I can get yr equals to root over 2 by ml sin r by x by l, where this is the factor that making the its mass normalized. Okay, so that how to do that? The yr is nothing but cr sin beta rx. Let's say any rth mode, beta r is r pi by l from the solution here. This we have already done, so I am just going to quickly it. Okay, so if you set it to 1 and integrate it, you will get very simple manner cr equals to root over 2 by ml. Okay, so that is that's root over 2 by ml root over 2 by ml sin r by x by l. Okay, so similar approach we can do it for the other boundary conditions. That is next we are going to do for the cantilever beam, but we will see that it is very difficult to obtain analytically the this factor. Okay, this factor for the cantilever beam. Okay, so that obviously we are not going to discuss in this class. That you can numerically try using writing some MATLAB code or something else. Okay, so these are the mode shapes that I have plotted. So that is basically sine pi x by l. That is the mode shape. Because root over 2 ml is a constant, right? So that is just a shape. So I want to plot the shape. So shape is dependent on the sine function, sine r pi x by l. R equal to 1, first mode shape. R equal to 2, second mode shape, and so on and so forth. So I plotted here first one, second one, third one, and their associated natural frequency. So these are the first 3 mode shapes of a simply supported beam and their associated eigenvalues. Natural frequencies. Okay, right? And you can observe the number of nodes is mode number minus 1. Okay, that we have done in the last class. Now we will move to our today's topic, that is basically cantilever beam. Okay, cantilever. So its length is L. Okay, uniform beam, EI m constant over the length of the beam. So at this end obviously V equals to 0, right? Vxt V0 t is equal to 0, and in this end, and also what is 0 here?
So slope will be 0.
Slope will be 0. So that is del V by del x evaluated at x equals to 0. That will be 0. So that will actually give V equals to 0 means I can write y equal to 0, and I can write dy by dx evaluated at x equals to 0 is equals to 0. Okay. This we have already understood why it is, because Vxt is nothing but from variables, no, not y, right? I am constantly writing, I think, V. Should I use V or Y? What would be easy for you? Tell me. Yes?
V, sir.
V. Most probably in the PPT it is Y. Okay. So dV capital V. Okay. So the variable separation Vx into Et. Okay. So that is since so V0t is 0, right? So if I substitute x equals to 0 here, so V0, this is non-zero, so I can say V0 equals to 0. Similarly this. So directly I can write here. So what will be the free end? Free end will be shear force and bending moment will be 0. So I can write d2v by dx2 is equals to 0, and d3v by dx3 is equal to 0. Shear force and bending moment 0. Okay. Directly, actually it is del 2 small v by del x2 is equals to 0 ei. Okay. So if I substitute v this thing, and then so this evaluated at x equals to l, sorry, this evaluated at x equals to l. So 4 boundary condition, 1, 2, 3, 4. Any issue with this? No issue, right? And these are called the geometric boundary condition here, geometric boundary conditions, and these are two are the natural boundary conditions. Natural boundary conditions. Okay. So now we'll go back to our that expression for V. Let us go back. So you see this equation, right? So this equation is coming from the equation number 54 is coming from our eigenvalue problem, right? Okay, then we will apply this on the boundary condition like we did for the last time for the simply supported beam. This is for simply supported beam, right? Simply supported beam, these are the 4 boundary conditions we have applied and we have done this thing and to find out this characteristic equation. The same thing we are doing here. So this is equally applicable, right? So this is, I mean, standard. This is coming from the eigenvalue problem. Again, going back, what is the eigenvalue problem? This one, right? Equation number 49. Equation number 49 or this one, or basically the, I can write it if it is this equals to this omega square is giving this one, right? Okay. So that is the eigenvalue problem. So by solving that, I have obtained this equation number 52, right? And then I will apply the boundary condition. So similarly, the same thing will be applicable here also, right? So just I will repeat here what is there, okay? Or you can just write it. So Vx, right? So Vx is equals to, can you tell me C1 what I have written first, sin beta x or what I have written? Sin beta x or cos beta x or hyperbolic? Which one first written there? Can you tell me?
Sin beta x.
Sin beta x. Then I think it is cos beta x. Doesn't matter, whatever you write. Sin hyperbolic beta x plus C4 cosine hyperbolic beta. So this is the solution that I obtained for Vx. Again, I will apply my boundary condition for this particular problem. That is nothing but my cantilever beam. Okay, 4 boundary conditions is written here. So V at 0 equals to 0, then dV by dx at x equals to 0 is 0, d2V by dx2 evaluated at x equals to 0, d3V by dx evaluated at x equals to 0 is 0. Apply the 4 boundary conditions and tell me what are the 4 expressions you are getting. Okay. So try to apply first these two because this will give you the simple expression that the geometry boundary condition you apply. V is equal to 0 is 0 and dV by dx evaluated x equals to 0 is 0. Apply this first two boundary condition, that is boundary condition evaluated at the left hand. Okay. Then you tell me what your expression getting. Then I will apply the next two boundary condition. Same approach. Approach is same, but here it will be a little bit complicated thing will come. The expression will be a little bit complicated. That's all. Anybody has any difficulty in understanding, please tell me. Okay. At least I mean again repeating that you should understood whatever I am discussing little bit amount of this continuous system. This is a vast topic. Okay, and there are a lot of things there to learn and understand. But I am just giving you a brief overview of a very in a simplistic manner. So please try to understand that much at least. Okay, and if you have doubt, don't hesitate to ask. Although I know most of the people understand it, that's fine. But if still few people are not able to understand, please ask me, then I'll repeat or I'll clarify it. So far it is clear. Any issue or what I am asking you to do, not able to understand, please speak out. Because I am unable to understand what problem you are facing, if you are facing a problem. Okay. If you have no issue, then please apply the boundary condition. Cantilever beam, very well know the boundary conditions. Apply those boundary conditions and tell me what are the 4 expressions you are getting, like we did for the last class. Okay, for the simply supported beam. So they are just the boundary conditions are different. So again we will obtain some characteristic equation, then from the natural frequencies and the modes. But here you will see not like that simple expression that we obtain for the simply supported beam. Yes, tell me what is the first expression by applying the boundary condition. First two expression, that is very simple, right? What are the first two equations basically?
C2 plus C4 equals to 0.
And the second one,
C1
Okay.
minus C3 equal to 0.
huh?
C1 minus C3 equal to 0.
C1 minus C3, sure.
I think so.
So from this I will get C4 is equals to minus C2. Okay. Just this one you check. Okay.
So C1 plus C3.
Okay. So C3 equals to minus C1. There's expression I got. So I can write this Vx equals to C3 C1. So C1 sine beta x sine hyperbolic beta x plus C3. Am I right? No, not C3. Yeah. Sorry, C2, C4 is C2. So C2 I can take common. C2 cos beta x minus cos hyperbolic beta x. Correct? Two boundary condition apply. I got little bit simplified thing. Now I apply the remaining two boundary condition, that is the force boundary condition or the boundary condition at the right hand side. Okay, of the cantilever. Okay. Then you'll get another two equation. Then I'll just take the determinant of the coefficient 0 for non-trivial solution. We'll get the characteristic. Done. Anybody has any difficulty in getting this expression? Any difficulty? Any difficulty? Any difficulty? No. Good. So now I apply the remaining two boundary condition, that is the force boundary condition. These two boundaries. These are well known. Right? Here the displacement will be 0, slope will be 0 in the fixed end, and the free end, moment and the shear force 0. So this is well known to you. Evaluated at x equals to L. Remember, because this is at x equals to L. X equals to 0 here, x equals to L if this is your x axis. And this is your vertical y axis. Okay. Okay, so apply those in this equation and tell me what are the two expressions you are getting. We have applied the geometric or essential boundary condition to get these two expressions, and from that we obtain these. Then using that I am writing in a simplified form this. Now I am applying the remaining force boundary condition, two force boundary condition. I will get two expressions. Okay.
So minus C1
Minus
sine beta L
bracket or just
bracket minus C1 comma beta L plus sine H beta L.
you do it carefully, otherwise you get wrong answer.
So minus C2
C2
bracket cos beta L
cos beta L
plus cos H beta L
L.
equals to 0.
I can write this to class, right?
Yes, sir.
Next one. Anybody has difficulty in this expression? Applying boundary condition now on this expression. Okay. someone has got this equation. Remaining one boundary condition, I'll get one more. Okay.
Sir, C1 cos beta L plus cos beta H beta L. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So cos beta L plus cos H beta L.
Yes, I am written.
Then plus C2
Plus
sin beta L. I'm not getting your voice.
no, your phone has some problem. Some noise is coming from your side. You are telling me plus C2? Anybody else?
Sir, C2
Sin beta
into
H.
sin H beta L minus sin beta L.
That means,
Yes, yes.
sorry, this should be minus, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now I can add a C1 remove. This one is C2 remove. Minus sign, matrix form. This one, what happened? C1, C2. Agree?
Yes.
A non-trivial solution C1, C2, I mean cannot be 0, okay, right? So non-trivial solution, if C1, C2 be 0, then C3, C4 0, all 0, this vanishes, Vx vanishes. Non-trivial solution, trivial solution that is. We are not interested on that. For non-trivial solution, determinant of this coefficient matrix has to be 0, and that will give us the characteristic equation. So please make this determinant of this coefficient matrix, set it to 0, and tell me what is the, after trigonometric simplification, what is the final outcome. Any difficulty in understanding by anybody? Any difficulty? Okay. Yeah, please everybody do it. Yeah. The determinant of the coefficient matrix, set it to 0, and then just simplify. Trigonometric simplification.
So cos beta L into cos H beta L equal to 0.
1 minute. Cos beta L
Into cos H beta L equal to 0.
equal to 0.
Yes, sir.
Please check it again. One thing though easily can be seen in the cos square theta, a sin square theta. 1, where is the 1 gone? You see sin square, if you diagonal multiply sin
Yes,
square
sir,
theta.
equal to 1, sir.
Are you sure? Equal to 1.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, sure.
All are agree? Please check again.
No, sir, just cos beta L into cos h beta L equals to 0.
0 is not possible because here the 1 I can see sin square beta L plus cos square beta.
But so we'll get the negative also from cos and sin h
Negative,
beta.
negative from where you will get?
So like sin square h beta L minus cos square h beta L. That will come as -1.
Sin square minus sin square, what you will get?
So like I am getting the determinant as
This here, this will be plus sin square hyperbolic and then minus cos square.
yes, that will come to be -1.
What is the relation? They check it just cos square hyperbolic beta x minus sin square or sin square minus hyperbolic minus 1 is just check it. Because the final expression I know that cannot be changed. Okay, there is some mistake then in the calculation, applying the boundary conditions. That is standard. That is these are exact solution, right? This cannot change. They are not approximate
Sir,
solution.
cos beta L into
Yes,
cos h beta L equal to minus
it's coming 1.
minus 1.
No, sir, +1.
Minus 1, right? This is the
Yes,
correct action. 1 plus cos beta plus cos hyperbolic beta equals to 1. That is the standard for cantilever wave. And to simply support it, sin r pi equals to 0. Please check it. This has to be because this is exact solution. Okay, so this is your characteristic equation or frequency equation. Why frequency equation? Because this will give the frequency beta r, right? We'll get the rth solution as the beta r. So beta r is what? What is that relationship? Beta r. What is that called? You can find out it once you obtain beta r. So omega is beta square ei by m. Omega is square root over ei by m. Okay, so ei by m is known to you, so you have to find out beta r for the rth root basically, right, of this equation, of this characteristic equation. Then you can find out omega r. So similarly r equal to 1 to 3 like that. Okay, but unfortunate thing is that it doesn't have any closed form solution. Do you have? Can you find out any closed form solution of this equation? Not, right? 1 plus cos beta L cos hyperbolic beta L doesn't have any closed form solution. So you have to solve it iteratively. So you can use Newton-Raphson method or any other suitable method if you have learned to find out. So that is up to you. Please try it in your home that how to solve this equation to find out the roots. So that is beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, so on and so forth. And once you obtain that, just plug it here to find out the natural frequencies. Natural frequencies. Correct? Because EIM is known to you. These are the flexural rigidity and mass per unit length. So once you obtain beta r, you can find out omega r equals to beta r square root over E by m. How to find out beta 1, beta 2, beta 3? By solving this transcendental equation in some iterative technique like the Newton's Raphson method. Or what is the easiest way to solve it? Simple way, using Excel or MATLAB. What is the easiest way using, let's say Excel, let's say not MATLAB also. Raphson, Newton Raphson. What is the easiest way? You know a little bit about Excel, right? Excel work you a little bit know, right? What is the easiest way to solve this? Without understanding anything. Let's say I am giving some equation. How will you solve it?
So you can draw the graph and
Yes, draw the graph just for different values. The two column will be there for different values of beta L. Starting from 0 with a small increment, you find out that a function cos beta L, cos hyperbolic beta L. Okay, for different values of beta L. Plot that function beta L versus this one. Wherever it will cross, those are the roots. Simple thing. Beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. Clear? You will see this is a dangerous function very. Okay. You see sometimes it will very jump or so say not a well behaved function like that. Anyway, so you can find out the root. So I'll just write the roots here. Let me see it. Where is the root? Because I did not remember. Okay. But before that, let me complete one thing. Okay. So what we got here, so because two equations we have got, right? So, but what is the eigenfunction or the mode shape? So this is the, I got the characteristic equation, 1 plus cos beta L plus cos hyperbolic beta L equal to 0. I'll solve it. I'll get beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, so on and so forth, and I can find out the natural sequence. One thing is done. The remaining thing is the eigenfunction or the mode shape. So mode shape we have to, so here we got two equations, right? In terms of C1, C2. So by solving two equation, you find out C1 in terms of C2 or C2 in terms of C1, doesn't matter. Okay. C1 in terms of C2 or C2 in terms of C1 and substitute here, substitute here, substitute here. Okay. Then you'll get Vx. Vx in terms of, let's say if you substitute C2 in terms of C1, then you get C1 into something. That's something I do not know. That you have to fill it. Okay. Understood my point or any difficulty? I said you got two equations, right? First equation, that this into C1 plus this into C2 equal to 0. This I have just written in a matrix form. So from here, from these two equations, we'll write C2 in terms of C1 or C1 in terms of C2. Okay, right? Then we will put it here. This expression that Vx equals to this. Let's say you have obtained C2 in terms of C1. Then finally, I can write my Vx eigenfunction or mode shape as C1 common. This is just a constant, right? It's a mode shape. This will give you the eigenfunction or mode shape. Okay, very long expression here you will find out. Okay, if you want to do it now, you can do it, but I'll just show you what is the expression. Okay, but depending upon which one you are substituting C1 in terms of C2 or C2 in terms of C1, you might get different expression. But don't confuse with that. Okay, you will find in different books maybe little bit slightly different expression is there. Okay, but these are absolutely fine. Okay, you will find in some literature or paper they represent it in some different manner. Okay, but they are equivalent to each other. Okay, so I'll show you just one expression here. Are you able to see what is the condition of the very big expression for the eigenfunction or mode shape? Yx here written. So in terms of C1 is this. Okay. But anyway, it doesn't matter because you know, right? So let's say I want to find out arith mode shape. So Yr equals to beta r. This is r, right? This is for arith mode. These are all the r beta. So I know beta r, right? By solving the characteristic equation, 1 plus cos beta L plus cos hyperbolic beta L equal to 0. Solving that, I'll get beta r. Substitute here. This is just a constant. I'll get the mode shape. Fine? No issue. Okay. So this is my characteristic equation, and these are the first four root. If you solve iteratively, you will find out that first root is 1.8751 beta RL. This is this, this is this, this is this. Once you got beta RL, you can find out these frequencies. Okay. Omega 1 is from that expression. Omega 1 is beta 1 square, right? Root over of EI by M. Omega RL, right? So beta R square. So we'll substitute omega beta RL to beta to L like those, and you can got it this omega first frequency, second frequency, third frequency, and fourth frequency, and so on and so forth. So this you please verify by yourself so that you learn how to solve that equation, characteristic equation also. You can use whatever approach you like in Excel, or you can program in MATLAB also. You can try Newton-Raphson or any other numerical technique also. Okay. But easiest way is that what I told, just evaluate the function where it is the crossing, zero crossing, that's all. So you will find, just verify that whether you are getting these four roots or not. Okay, as the first four root, beta 4, beta RL. Okay, and the corresponding natural frequencies are omega 1, omega 2, omega 3, omega 4. Something is written here, please read it. Okay. Okay, so in that case, if there is a higher modes you understood, right, the beam deformation will be quite, I mean, the rotation will be there. So you cannot ignore the rotatory inertia in those cases. Okay, rotatory inertia will be there. And it will be wrinkled, and that's the warping effect you have to consider. Higher order beam theory. Now these are the modes I have plotted. So I have shown in the vertical orientation, horizontal orientation, also similar. Okay. So this is the first mode shape, second mode shape, third mode shape, and fourth mode shape. Okay. Don't forget to show that this is fixed end. Here it should be 0. Okay. Right. So that people do mistake. Let me show you the simply supported beam. So simply supported beam. You see here the slope is not 0. Be careful here. Okay. Here. So although it doesn't have a closed form solution, right? But there can be some approximate relationship can be obtained, if I remember correctly, for m r greater than 3 or 4 maybe. So now quickly tell me what is the characteristic equation for simply supported beam? I think sine beta L equal to 0, right? Correct?
Yes, sir.
This is the characteristic equation, and then it is a simple solution, right? Something in that. Very simple, right? Okay. But here it is not the case. But here for r greater than 3 or r greater than 4, most probably, you can use a simple expression, approximate expression, as 2r minus 1 divided by 2 into pi. Just check it. Let's say for r equal to 4. Put it r equal to 4 here and tell me what is beta RL and cross check with this value. This is for beta RL 4, right? Are you getting close to this?
Yes, sir, it's coming 10.9.
10.285.
995, sir.
Oh, 995. So then it is very close. Okay. So this expression you can use for r greater than 3. But you try for r equal to 1. Put it r equal to 1. Are you getting 1.8751? There will be, I think there should be substantial difference.
It's coming around 1.5, sir.
1.5. You see there is a difference, right? As opposed to this one. He told 10.99 or 959 something. But here 1.5. So a lot of difference. But don't use, if you want to use this approximate expression, use it for r greater than 3 or r greater than 4. Then you will find that they are almost close to by solving this, exactly solving this equation than transcendental equation. So this is an approximate expression of beta RL to simplify the thing if r greater than 3 or r greater than 4, most probably. Okay. So it is, you see, the characteristic equation is not as simple as that of the simply supported beam. And also for simply supported beam, now let me go back. So the name is simply supported, everything is coming as simply, right? You see how very simple it is, right? If you do integral of m y r square x dx, normalization, okay, you will get CR equal to root over of t by ml. Okay? Because your what is that YR? YR is some CR constant into sine R pi x by L. Very simple mode shape or eigenfunction. But here it is dangerous situation, right? You see what is the mode shape? Equation number 62. Okay. So is it easy or difficult to find out the mass normalized mode shape? To find out that constant?
Easy for
Easy.
simply supported.
No, for this cantilever. Right now I am at cantilever, equation 62.
Difficult.
It will be difficult, yes. So that actually you cannot, because you will not get there any analytical solution. I mean, here, okay. So just insert. It is actually, the expression will remain the same. Integral 0 to L, m y square x dx. Sorry, v, right? It's v and y confusion. Anyway, vr x square x dx equals to 1. So where Vr is nothing but this one equation 62, and you do not know beta r, you have to solve it right each time. From this each time you have to solve, and for each case you have to find this integration, and you have to find out that coefficient for normalization. But previously it was very simple. Let me go back again. It is very simple, right? Because you know sine, what is that? Sine actually beta rx, right? CR sine beta rx, but you know beta r is nothing but r pi by l, because your characteristic equation solution sine beta l equal to 0 is giving you that beta l equal to r pi, right? So from that you know this. You can easily substitute here and obtain this, and then do the simple integration to do this, right? That is not in the case of that cantilever beam. Okay. So for each mode, you have to first find out the beta RL, that is the solution, and then you have to put it where it is. You have to put it here beta RL. Okay, let's say for the first mode you have done. Then you have to numerically integrate it. The integration is also not straightforward, right? You do it numerically. You just try it, okay, and check it whether you are getting. I have done it using in MATLAB. You will not find in any book, most probably. Okay, that what is the must normalize mode shape for a cantilever beam. They will also for that simply supported beam, but not for the cantilever beam. Please try it yourself and see whether you are getting that factor as 1 by root over ml or not. Okay, I did it in MATLAB using. Okay, so I got this expression 0.9999987 something like that divided by root over of ml. So that is I can say 1 by. I did it for the first 5 more. Okay. So try it yourself. Okay. That will be learning for your coding also. Okay. If you interested. But the concept, I hope it is clear. Whether you do that or not, that is a different thing. But I hope the concept is clear to you. Okay. But you will not. If you find, please let me know that the derivation or the must normalize mode shape for cantilever beam is given there. But for simply supported beam, it will be given. So that was root over 2 by ml, right? But I have used one particular expression, but I don't know whether it is for different expression. But check it just for, you can use, as I told now, whether you are substituting C1 in terms of C2 or C2 in terms of C1, and the way you are writing, the expression could be different. Okay. So the expression I used, I got 1 by root over ml, you might got something else. Okay. So now, so for other types of boundary condition, okay, you please try it like for free beam, free, both and free. Okay, you can try it. Okay, or cantilever with a mass attached to the free end. So those type of things you see it from books. Okay, and it is interesting to note that whatever I have discussed for the continuous beam so far, I cannot ask much question in the exam because these are all standard theory type. Okay, so if I give any question, you will see the book or something, copy it, finish it. Okay, so maybe what we will discuss in the response calculation using mode superposition. From there, I can give some problem. Okay, but before going to that, there is the mode superposition method. We have to verify the orthogonality of the eigenfunction, like we did for the multi-degree of freedom system, right? So that we need to be verified first. Okay. So I'll just briefly start today and then complete tomorrow classes. Okay. So till now, any doubt regarding the continuous system? So just tell me what could be the example of the free beam? A beam with both and free undergoing vibration. Yes, come on.
Sir, I don't know the name, but like while building the house, they place it, no sir, for between two foundations on the soil.
Free beam.
Yes, sir. Free.
No support on the both sides. Then how it will hang? Or I mean, what? How?
So they'll place it on the soil, sir.
And then you support, right? No, that is supported. I'm saying free. Boundary condition free, non-supported.
So beam on the electromagnetic field.
Huh?
Like free floating, so free floating between electromagnetic.
Free floating?
Between the electromagnetic waves of the intensity or the magnetic intensity.
Yeah, that I don't know, but simple thing is that like rocket or that space vehicle, right? Space object, missile. When it is just okay. Okay, but that is not our concern. Okay. So let me just introduce then because time is also almost over. So orthogonality, again the orthogonality coming into the picture, similar type of thing. So let me first write what is the orthogonality we have discussed. U transpose. Please let me correct if I wrong. U R transpose US equals to delta RS, Kronecker delta. Okay, and U R transpose K. I hope you remember. You have not forget it. Okay, omega R square delta RS. These two are the orthogonality relations, right? But delta RS is the Kronecker delta, which is equals to 0 if R not equal to S and equals to 1 if R equal to S. Correct? I can write in this compact form. Rth mode से Sth mode से mass matrix, stiffness matrix. All are aware of this, right? So many times we have discussed and we have derived systematically. So similar type of approach will considered here, but here it will be integral thing and differentiation, all those things will come into the picture. Okay. So what is our eigenvalue problem? Let us assume that I forget, so I'll go back to the slide. And what is the eigenvalue problem? This. Right? This is the eigenvalue. Okay. Or you see the eigenvalue problem is equally applicable for if the beam is not non-uniform also. Okay. So I will just write it here d2 by dx2. So general thing I will prove EI x d2 by dx2 d2 y, right, y or v, whatever you use, dx equals to omega square mx. Let's say mass is also varying, but I missed vx. So this is my eigenvalue problem. Am I right or wrong? Please remember. Correct? Just y is v because I am constantly, now I am using v, right? So d2 by dx2. Okay. If ei constant, you can easily see that ei outside d4v by dx4. Okay, equals to that omega square m by ei will come down and vx, right? Okay, just I have written this expression, and you already know how this expression is coming, right? By variable separation technique and this thing. Clear? So let me write this. Please remember, note it down this equation because I'll write there. Okay, dx by dx2 ei d2 by dx2 omega square m dx. d2 by dx2 eix d2 vx by dx2 equals to omega square mx, then what? Vx, right? Right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Valid for this. Okay. So this is the eigenvalue problem that we have solved, right? Already solved. Using applying the boundary condition. And for simply supported beam and the cantilever beam, we obtain the characteristic equation, solve it to get the natural frequencies, and then you also obtain the mode shape. Okay. So now we will consider this equation. Similar manner, you remember how we got these expressions. Okay, we start with the eigenvalue problem. That is k into u equals to omega square m into u. Don't forget all those things. Okay. So for Rth mode, it is valid for Rth mode and Sth mode, right? So R. Similarly for Sth mode, US. So for your convenience, I am writing here. Okay. So that you can see the parallel or analogy between the two things. Okay. US for Sth mode also applicable, right? Because those are the set of solutions. So then you remember this multiplying by US transpose and then doing something, right? So here also it is the similar things, but you have to do the by parts integration. So we'll discuss that about tomorrow. Okay, and we'll show that the here also similar type of expression, not the same expression, similar type of expression we will obtain like this two expression. These are matrix vector form. Here it will be in the integral form. Okay, we'll discuss this in the tomorrow class. Okay. So we'll for two sets of pair of eigen thing, that is means omega r Vr, omega s Vs. Okay, so we'll satisfy this for this set, and this set will satisfy this equation. Then pre-multiplying it, one equation and another equation, and then we'll just by parts integration, and you'll see how elegantly we are getting the orthogonality relationship. Because unless orthogonality relationship we can prove, we cannot go for the mode superposition, right? Fine, stop it here. Thank you.